Justice Machine Annual, and it's called in the story. The title of the story is An Echo of Thunder, but Justice Society of America, where they're spelling it out again. And hi, I'm Glenn Simpson, and I've collected comics for over 40 years, and I'm showing off my collection one box at a time. And today we're going over box number 95. We're going to finish up some Justice League stuff. We're going to get into some Justice Machine, and we are going to finish it up with some Justice Society. So there is justice in the world. It's right here in this video, right here on Glenn Simpson's Comics. All right, so we're starting with Justice League of America Rebirth. So this was like a lot of the Rebirth books. It got a one-shot before it came out before issue 1. So that's that. And then something that was sort of unique to this series is several of the characters got individual Rebirth one-shots from this particular version of Justice League of America. So we've got the Killer Frost one on this side, and we've got the Vixen version on this side. Then we go to Justice League of America's Vibe. So the previous series, or one of the previous series, where Vibe, the new 52 version of Vibe, was a member. He got his own series for a while. That's issue 1. Of course, this was also when Vibe, or the character, something similar to the character, was appearing on the Flash CW show. So, they were trying to push him as much as possible. We've got issue 5 here, Suicide Squad. Issue 6 right there. But like a lot of these series, they couldn't keep a writer on. Like this started with Jeff Johns, and now it's Sterling Gates on issue 6. Issue 10 right there. And 10 is it. Boop. That was the end of that Vibe. So that's probably the last time we saw Vibe, unless he's shown up in the background of a thing. Right. So then we have JLA, the 99, bringing together these DC heroes with Teshkiel Comics, who are, Eastern Indian characters. So we've got issue 1, Alex Ross on cover, through issue 6, right there. Alright, and now, so we have completed Justice League of America. We've got some more Justice League. We've got Justice League Quarterly. So during the time of the whole Justice League America, Justice League International, Justice League Europe, all that good stuff, it was a big seller for DC, so they looked into doing some more, getting some more out there. So they have Justice League Quarterly, and it would just, every month it would be a different series, or different group of characters in a particular situation, kind of merging some of the international and Europe and America and all that stuff. So we have here a Booster Gold ran off and formed a sort of corporate super team, like he's a corporate superhero, and they are called the Conglomerate. Then we've got issue 3, Mike McCone on cover. Our heroes got shrunk. Honey, I Shrunk the superheroes. Issue 4, focusing on Guy and Ice. There. Issue 6. I think at this point they quit trying to tell one long story and just went with, you know, several short stories. So we've got Power Girl. There's one in here where Blue Beetle is trying to lose. He'd gotten overweight and he was trying to lose the weight, and the doctor basically tells him, who is a woman that you are, who's also trying to lose weight, because men can lose weight faster than women. So if you get in a competition, you'll probably win. And so I don't know if that's scientifically accurate, but that was the general idea. So there's that. Issue 7. Got a variety of heroes. We've got Ted going back to his high school reunion. There. Issue 9. There. Everybody going crazy. Issue 10. Booster Gold. We start getting some cool art over here. This Rodriguez guy. It was kind of cool. He had a very imagey kind of style. Fighting a new version of Amazo. Amazo gets an overhaul here. We've got issue 13 with Maxima. Maxima and Captain Atom having a will they won't they, with cover art by Linsner from Cry for Dawn, Joseph Michael Linsner. So doing some DC work there. Issue 15, Praxis. He was introduced in that first issue, and they really developed a lot of lore around him and his powers and things like that. But you know, he didn't end up really going anywhere in the long run. We've got General Glory by Guy Gardner's hero. Whoop, the dog's having fun. The dog's having fun. General Glory, a solo outing. He was Guy Gardner's hero of World War II. Of course, we never actually saw this guy before a Justice League America issue that introduced him. And then this Justice League Quarterly ends with a Global Guardians story. Some more new costumes and things for some of them, and some cool image-esque artwork on there. And alphabetically speaking, now we have Justice League Rebirth as opposed to Justice League of America Rebirth. So this came out before the Rebirth Justice League series. Here, one shot. And then we have Justice League Rise and Fall Special. This was all sort of focused around the re-downfall of Roy Harper, Speedy, getting back on drugs, and all headed in a particular direction. And really most of that got wiped out with the New 52. But this was part of that storyline. We've got Justice League Road to Dark Crisis. So this came out before the Dark Crisis event, which eventually was renamed to Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. At this point, we didn't know it was going to be tied into Crisis on Infinite Earths, so they just kept calling it Dark Crisis. But this is a prelude to that. We've got Justice Leagues, and this was a mini-series with incredible George Perez art, my favorite guy. and it was along the lines of the various Justice Leaguers forget that the Justice League exists, so they run off and they each form their own Justice League of something that starts with A. So Batman starts the Justice League of Arkham, and Wonder Woman forms the Justice League of Amazons, and some things like that. And so all those one-shots are in here. If you want to see all of them, be sure to comment. And it's weird though, because it alphabetically is different from the parts. So, but I think I've got the question mark here first, just on because that's weird. That's hard to alphabetize. So I went with the part 1 here. But the Atlantis, Aquaman forms the Justice League of Atlantis, and that is just happens to be part 3, but it's the last one, again, alphabetically. So there you go. In the previous video, I talked a lot about how you had Justice League America and Justice League Europe coming out, and then Keith Giffen left, and so they kind of did this Justice League Spectacular as a way of saying, okay, here we go, we're restructuring, and Keith Giffen, and so Superman, there's 2 versions of this cover. One has Superman with the new lineup of the Justice League America, and this one is Green Lantern with the lineup of Justice League International, the second series, which used to be Justice League Europe. Following all that? Alright, then we get to Justice League Task Force. So this idea was that the Justice League could put together a group of heroes for sort of Black Ops-y kind of, again, similar to the Justice League Elite, or just a very targeted membership on a mission-by-mission basis, and bring in other heroes, or in this case also villains like Despero. And of course this was going on during the 0 hour period, so it got a 0 issue by Mark Waid. But so that's the 0 issue. But when we get to the actual first issue, we bring back Gypsy, the unfortunately named Gypsy, and some other heroes, Aquaman, Nightwing. First time we've kind of had Nightwing as a quote-unquote member of the Justice League. The issue 8. So they go, something about this story, they go into a place where there's only women, and so John Johns has to masquerade as a female version of himself. So this is him changing his gender, if you will, for the mission, for the good of the mission. Right there. And then we've got issue 9. So DC had recently done their Bloodlines event in their annuals, where a bunch of new characters were introduced, and most of them, you know, really died off pretty quick. But here was an attempt to use some of them right here. And then we've got issue 16, which is actually where we go into the 0 hour event. And this is where we are meeting, I believe, Triumph. I'm sorry. It was a storyline that ran through all the books, because we saw another return of the hero. So running through the various books, Justice League books, this story where Triumph is kind of like, if you're familiar with the Sentry over at Marvel, somebody who was around before. He was a founder of the Justice League, and then he sacrificed himself, and everybody forgot that he ever existed. And so then he comes back during all the timey-wimey stuff of 0 hour. So That's issue 16. Alright, then we get to issue 17. I think that savagery is referring to Vandal Savage, the classic DC villain. There. Through 24. There, a little spooky stuff going on with Gypsy. Issue 25, we've got Damage joining the team. Get some new characters that are created that actually just stay in the book, like Glenn Gameron or something like that. So we got Christopher Priest doing the writing. Issue 28. There. Got some disagreements going on between Martian Manhunter and Triumph. Um, 29. Right there. And 32. Space action. 33. He really needs to get his act together. Martian Manhunter gonna beat his butt. And the series ends with 37. Alright, so then we've got Justice League, The Atom Project. So this is a recent series coming out of the Absolute Power event. Lots of heroes lose their powers, and other people get the powers that they lost. The Atoms, Brian Choi and Ray Palmer, are figuring out how to fix all that. And oh boy, the dog's got a toy. He'll be happy now. They figure out that Captain Atom can actually store powers, but then he kind of goes on the run. He's not sure if people should get these powers back. They may be doing more harm than good. Just all kinds of stuff like that. It's a pretty good series. It's told out of order, so sometimes it's a little hard to follow, but it's pretty interesting. Issue 1, and it goes through issue 6. One small step. There. Got Justice League, The Rise of Arsenal. So more of that rise and fall thing. Roy Harper loses his arm and gets depressed, and everything goes to pot, and it was kind of dark, and I don't know who enjoyed it or who this was for, but luckily the New 52. Most people, there's a phrase you don't hear many people say. Luckily the New 52 came along. Luckily the New 52 came along and cleaned all that up. But that's issue 1 through issue 4, I believe. There's something about Roy sniffing drugs off of a cat or something like that. That's in here. Now, to be fair, they over in the Young Justice cartoon, they did a play on this with the giving Roy Harper over there a bionic arm. So it did have some lasting effects in that sense. We've got Justice League, the Omega Act Special. This is very recent, leading into the DC KO event. I'm pretty far ahead on recording these, so by the time you see this, KO may be over. But I'm talking in terms of when I'm recording. So there you go. Let's see. Justice League 3000. So this was an alternate future, the year 3000. and a company figures out how to basically grow new versions of these classic heroes as clones. But there is a dark secret involved, and it's written by Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis from the Bwahaha Justice League, and drawn by Howard Porter. Interesting story on Howard Porter. My understanding is that he was in, I believe, an auto accident, and it messed up his right hand, which is the hand that he drew with, and so he had to relearn how to draw, and he learned to draw with his left hand, or something like that. But he still looks good. Issue 1 through issue 8. There, we got the new version of the Flash. Issue 9 with Green Lantern and the Flash of this Justice League 3000, and issue 15. We've got Fire and Fire, the original Fire, who is brought back, not as a clone, but as an actual, the original. Etrigan, of course, being a magical demon, he doesn't necessarily die anytime soon. And that series ends at issue 15 and is relaunched as Justice League 3001 with the same creative team and that sort of thing, and it keeps going. Issue 1 through issue 8. Eventually, Scott Collins comes on, starts doing the art, and gradually what we find happening is, you'll notice from this cover, is all of the characters become female. Just all the replacements or the characters that are brought forward in time. So it's an all-female Justice League. But we have Guy Gardner reborn in the body of a woman, which, hilarity ensues. Okay. And issue 9. Right there. Through issue 12. They kind of face a group that's very Legion-esque there. So the team from one future facing a group that's similar to a team from another future. And that ends that. Then we have Justice League United. So this came out during the New 52 era. Featured kind of another variation on the Justice League. We had Stargirl, we had Supergirl, we have Animal Man, Green Arrow, this new character called Equinox, Martian Manhunter, and we have a new version of Adam Strange. And he's kind of a younger guy, and his Aliyah, or his Alana rather, is just another Earthling. So very different interpretation. I don't know that it would hold up to, being kind of smoothed over and kept in the modern combination history that that DC has now. But that's issue 0, which is the first appearance of Equinox. And I think that actually came out before issue 1. We've got issue 1 here. I think that their charter, if you will, was outer space. They were going off into space to do stuff. Issue 1 through issue 8. This is a variant cover. from the month. They were all celebrating the Flash's 75th anniversary, so we got the Flash inserted into this classic Adam Strange cover. Issue 9 right here, celebrating Harley Quinn's new series. So every book had Harley Quinn on the cover on this variant. And then issue 16, got Jeff Parker come in completely and Travel Foreman. It kind of completely changed up the book, but it did not do enough to save it from the chopping block. They did have an annual. All right, this version of the Justice League United hung out with the Legion there for a minute. Jeff Lemire, Sweet Tooth. They were around for the whole plastic hologram cover event. I believe Dawnstar of the Legion joins the team for a bit. And then we get to the modern Justice League Unlimited current series as of this recording. We had Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. The Justice League disappears. When the dust settles after Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, they did make the decision to bring the Justice League back, and they do it in a way that every hero is basically a member of the Justice League now, and they all get little cards and things like that. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Absolute Power is what brings the Justice League back, and then they form the Justice League Unlimited. So anybody can show up. Got Mark Waid writing, the popular Dan Mora on art, issue 1 right there. Got issue 4 there. And we got issue 6, review of the past Legion of Doom, leading into the We Are Tomorrow arc. This is issue 8. Okay, so around this time, DC was doing these variant covers that were George Perez. Most of them were taken from the postcard set that he had done in the 80s. Then they did one more, which was this for Justice League, and this is from, and we may see it when we get to the O's, the official handbook of Justice League of America, issue 1. They got their hands on that artwork and reproduced it here. Now, the thing that somebody pointed out to me, I might not have noticed, but they did, and so I'm going to share it with you so that I don't have to be the only person that's bothered by it. You got the star field here, and you got this space that was left for the logo, but they put the logo up here and didn't fill the space, so you just have this black space here. So they could have, I don't think anybody would have objected to, continuing the star field out in that area, but they chose not to do that, which is it's a little weird. But anyway, that's issue 8, and that is all we have in the box at the moment. We do have a couple more issues, but you'll have to look for those in a future video. We've got smooch there. Justice League versus Suicide Squad. Here, got the two teams going up against each other. This is going to leads into that new Justice League of America series that we saw a little bit of at the beginning of this. They're all fighting Eclipso, as you do every once in a while. You got to fight some Eclipso. We've got Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes. So during the Bendis era of things, you have this Bendis Justice League, or Bendis Legion, that was created, different alternate future, and we have the Justice League teaming up with them to deal with a hazard in time, issue 1 through issue 6 on that. Justice League. This says Justice League of America, but in the indicia it's just Justice League Wedding Special, so that's why it's filed like this. And this was back when Black Canary was marrying Green Arrow, and so she had a wedding party, and this is all about the wedding. Turns out that the Green Arrow that she married was not really the real Green Arrow, so therefore they never really got married. But I think they're fixing to get married again. I don't know. And we've got Superman popping out of the cake, indicating that apparently all the ladies think that Superman is the sexiest guy. So there you go. Not Batman, Superman. All right, and we have officially finished Justice League. Now we move into some other Justice things. So Justice Machine, you might not be as familiar with, or you might, was a series, a group of heroes. Mike Gustovich is the artist and writer, and he, a lot of times the writer. It takes place on this kind of other world called Orwell, which is, or Georwell, which is a play on George Orwell. And it is kind of a futuristic world, and it has its superheroes. And so, I just love me some superheroes, and I used to see these characters all the time. Now, the first couple of issues are like oversized, so they're not here in this box. But here with issue 4 of Noble, they got down to a size that would fit in a regular box. So that's that. We have issue 5 right there from Noble. Their first appearance is here in this Justice Machine annual, and it's called in the story. The title of the story is An Echo of Thunder, because it guest stars the Thunder Agents, which are another set of alternate company heroes. The Thunder Agents, I don't remember the original company that published them, but they were kind of public domain, or the people who own them will let you buy the license. DC did a run on Thunder Agents for a while, so there you go. Oh, wait. And I think this has, does this have the Elementals backup story in it? I think it might. So if we're going back to our Elementals, as you saw in a previous video, they had their actual first appearance in that annual as well. Kamiko takes over the license for Justice Machine from Noble, and does a decent length series. Issue 1 here through issue 4 there. Never a big Mike Gustovich art fan. Something funny about the eyes. I can't really put my finger on it. Issue 5 through issue 8. There. Issue 9. We find out that this character is the father of this character. Issue 12. There. Issue 13. That's kind of phallic. Anyway, I don't look at that anymore. Issue 16. Have you picked up on the fact that a lot of times I have them in groups of 4? So 17, 18, 19, 20, for example. Issue 17. This guy's name is Youthquake. I thought that was clever. Through 20. They figure out how to get to Earth, and there's a war ensues. The Justice Machine, I think, rebels against the government of Jor-Well, so they're defending Earth against, against Jor-Well. Issue 21 through 24. Got a bird guy. Cool bird guy. Issue 25. This guy was a little too unicolored there. Need a little more variety. And then 29 is the final issue of that Justice Machine. They had an annual there. Then a company called Innovation, I think this is in order, picks up the license, or gets with Gustovich. Got a John Byrne cover on here, unfortunately inked by Mike Gustovich. As always, I make no promises as to what order these things are. They're in alphabetical order, not necessarily chronological order. So that was the summer special, right? Or summer spectacular. So then they've got another Innovation series there. Can't even really hardly. If you think that looks hard to read on your side, it's not any easier to read on mine. And then issue 7 right there. And then Millennium Publishing publishes some Justice Machine for a while. Legend Reborn. And that's issue 2. I guarantee you there's no other YouTube channel showing you Justice Machine from Millennium Publishing. And then jumping back to Kamiko, a 4-issue miniseries, Justice Machine, featuring the Elementals. The two Kamiko teams team up and meet one another. We saw the Elementals in a previous video, and here they are teaming up with this other team. Issue 1 through issue 4 right there. Alright, and then that brings us to Justice Society of America. So this book, this series that started out in 91, was actually the first time that the Justice Society of America got a book that was literally named Justice Society of America. They had always appeared in All-Star Comics, and so this is the first time they actually got a series of any sort with their name. And it's a mini-series, and we have it's an 8-issue thing, and it's got some great art. It's got written by Len Straczewski, Rick Burchett, known for his work on the Batman Adventures tie-in to the Batman cartoon. Each issue kind of focuses on one of the heroes battling a astrological themed villain, and it takes place presumably like in the late 40s, something like that, because they're all still young. So issue 1, and it runs through issue 8. We've got Tom Lyle doing some cover art here, Grant Meme before we doing some art before we leave. So neat. And we've got jump to 92. Theoretically, based off the success of that previous series, we've got Straczewski coming back. We've got Mike Parobeck doing art, rest in peace. And this features some modern day adventures, and we really get into them, being, showing their age and things like that. We have Starman still looking pretty darn buff compared to how he would very soon look in the next Starman series as the, father of the new Starman. But we do have, I think, Sandman, having to take a break at one point, and Green Lantern has his toupee and things like that. Issue 1, fight the Ultra Humanite, which is something very important for the Justice Society to do. He's one of their main villains. And issue 5, continuing that story. The Ultra Humanite's big deal is he's a super genius, but also he can transfer his brain into other bodies. And he had transferred his brain into this ape body for a while, and then I think here he winds up growing himself a more regular, body to be in, but still has, puts the body, the brain of a regular ape or something like that in the other body, so that he can have an underling. And the whole thing ends with issue 10. Legend has it that DC just decided nobody really wanted to read about these octogenarian sort of superheroes, and took it off the stands. So we would go from here to 0 Hour, where several of them would die, and as in that fight. The Atom, I believe, Dr. Midnight, and who else? Who's the other one? Not Starman. I think Hourman dies there, but he doesn't really die. So there you go. And of course, the others kind of get, made young, come back, die again, whatever. So then we go a few years, and then the JLA series comes out for the Justice League. It's very popular. The JSA series comes out, and it runs for a while, and it's very popular. And then they decide, as they often do, to reboot it kind of get some new eyes on it. And so we have Justice Society of America, where they're spelling it out again. And got pretty much, you know, all sorts of people who are the legacies of those originals, if not the originals themselves. So Alex Ross on cover art there brings in the Starman, this Starman who is reminiscent of the Starboy from the Legion of Superheroes. Issue 1 through issue 4. Wildcat discovers he's got a son named Tom who can literally turn into a weird cat. So he becomes, what are you going to do? Tomcat, right? 4. I haven't heard from old Tomcat in a while, though. I think they've forgotten about him. They're writing him out. Issue 5. This is Sand, the former sidekick, who used to be Sandy, the sidekick of the original Sandman, and he has kind of adopted a look more like the original Sandman's with the gas mask and stuff. Issue 12, the team kind of meets some new versions of older heroes, things like that. We've got a lot of tie-ins to the Kingdom Come, which of course Alex Ross, was the artist on Kingdom Come, and so we've got Lightning, the daughter of Black Lightning, showing up here, who had appeared for the first time in that series. Judo Master, a female version of Judo Master, who we see you may know from the Peacemaker series. There you go. 12. Let's see. Issue 13. So, speaking of Kingdom Come, we have a little bit going on here. So we have the Superman from Kingdom Come, or from a Kingdom Come-like universe, arrives in the main universe. And he's, of course, chatting with a regular Superman. We've got this sort of throwback to that All-Star Squadron. I'm sure they did it other times, but the way I mostly think of is the All-Star Squadron and Justice League and Justice Society team up. And what will happen is there'll be some ties in this book to Kingdom Come, but also, this having an older Superman in here is kind of a throwback to back before the Crisis, when you had the Earth 2 Superman, who was an older Superman and a member of the Justice Society. So, issue 13. Issue 20. We had, immediately post Infinite Crisis in 52, we had a new multiverse, and that multiverse had an Earth 2, and that Earth 2 basically looked like the pre-Crisis Earth 2 if it had just kind of continued on. But you also still had all of those older heroes existing on the merged new Earth 0, if you will. So you got Power Girl kind of caught in the middle, because for a while there, for half a minute, she thought she was from that world, but she's actually not. She's from the old Earth 2 that, was destroyed in the Crisis, or merged. And then, for completion's sake, to be clear, then in the new 52, Earth 2 gets changed again, and it becomes a world where they have the same kinds of heroes as they had on Earth 2, but they're all young and just starting off now. So you have a Jay Garrick Flash, who is just now, you know, becoming the Flash. So, you know, in theory, you know, both worlds would have a Jade, one that was, you know, from the merged world, and one that was from the world where they just the only heroes they had were the Justice Society and Infinity Inc. So anyway, lots of good lore there, as the kids say. Issue 21. Right there, some Kingdom Come imagery going on, some ties in there. 24. Kind of shifting over a little bit. We've got Black Adam coming in and becoming a member. Right. Can't remember. Or is this when he's taking a turn? I think this is when I think he had been a member and now he's taking a turn. I think he was a member in JSA. Issue 24. Issue 25. Mary Marvel kind of getting lured over to the Black Adam side of the fence. And along with the variation on ISIS. They don't call her that because the terrorist organization ISIS was very much in the news at the time, so they didn't want to use the name ISIS, but that was what they were kind of alluding to, was the character from the old TV show ISIS there. 25 through 28. We've got Jerry Ordway kind of coming in. We are getting into, well, no, we doing some stuff. Jerry Ordway, known for his work on All-Star Squadron, so this was a good place for him to do some more. 29, got Bill Willingham, creator of the Elementals that we just earlier saw, teaming up with the Justice Machine. Comes to DC and is doing some writing and things. Got Magog as a full-time member, Lightning as a full-time member of the Justice Society. 36, kind of some flashback stuff there. Got a swastika cover for those of you who are swastika collectors. And something similar right here. And then 44. Right there. Forgot to mention real quick, this series was the first appearance of Jessie Quick, the daughter of Liberty Bell and Johnny Quick. So, just so you know. 45. Mark Guggenheim, known for his TV work, did a lot of writing on the CW DC shows. 48. Of course, Mr. Terrific is in all this, so, you know, for you Mr. Terrific fans, I want to pick some of this up. 49. Alan Scott gets this rather ludicrous costume because he's hurt, and this is supposed to be supporting his back or something like that, but it's pretty darn ridiculous. I don't know who approved that. And then this series ends with a Darwin Cook cover right there, as we find ourselves in October 2011, so we are about to go into the New 52. So once again, thanks New 52 for getting rid of that costume for Alan Scott. So this series had an annual number 1. This is actually also part of that storyline where Power Girl thinks that she is from the new this version of Earth 2, when actually this version of Earth 2 has its own Power Girl, and she's somewhere else at the moment. Love that Robin suit, adult Robin suit. And Justice, the annual 2. This is during this series was during when the point in time when JSA All Stars was out, and so they have a little team up there. And that is all for this box. Okay, so that finishes up box 95. Next time we'll get into box 96. We will do a little bit more Justice Society, and then we will get into the Ks. We've got some Kazars, some Kingdom things, some Kings, some Kitties, and ending up with some Knights. So, Knights. So I hope you'll be here. Thank you so much for watching this one. Please like and comment and subscribe. Those are really helpful things, and I hope you have a great day.